We are live. At least I think we're live.
We're live.
I don't know, Cody, every time we do this, like, I don't know why the launch is weird now. Like, it's either like some sort of delay or something, but it freaks me out every time.
You're live. We're live.
Yeah,
Everybody's
we're
live.
live.
We can all see.
We're live. All the way from Canada, CrossFit Alberni Valley. We have Devin Eaton here, two-time box owner. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
So we're going to jump right in, dude. We're literally going to, we're like no floaties, no goggles, right into the deep end.
All right.
Tell us about your affiliate. How long have you been open with this affiliate?
With this affiliate, we opened February 1st, so almost 3 months now.
Okay, February 1st. So before we hit record, you said this is your second affiliate. Are you running two affiliates concurrently, or did you have one and you no longer had one and now you have a new one?
So I ran CrossFit in Kemptville, Ontario for about 6 years, and then sold it to one of my employees last March. And so now I'm just solely running this one.
How far apart are those affiliates?
About 5,500 kilometers, or about 4,500 miles.
It's kilometers and miles. You know what's weird about CrossFitters? We're like, well, not CrossFitters. I'll speak to Americans only, because we're just like, we're good with miles until like you do fitness, and then we do zero fitness in miles, meaning like meters, 5K runs, 5K row, all that. And we still don't know how to do the conversion. We're still the worst. It says I'm all frozen and glitchy here in the chat. So yeah. It's frozen on my end too. Can you guys hear me at least?
Yep.
All right, give me one.
Yeah, we can hear you. Let's just, before we get into it, you don't want to hop out, just hop back in really fast.
I will. Bye. I'll come right back.
See you. Look, it's Fern's internet, y'all. He gets his router from the dollar store. I don't know what's happening over there in Virginia. We'll see. But the rest of us are good, right? Right? I'm good. Devin's good. Fern was the only one that was all crazy. What up, Nikki Sharp? Nikki Sharp, CFL3, recently minted. All right, here we go.
No,
you're coming back. Wait on it. Wait on it.
I don't know if it's me. I've been on calls all day today, and I've no other issues. Before
56K dollop.
You're like, I don't know. All right, well, fuck it. We're going. Okay.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it. But you guys can still hear me, right? Just the video is all jacked up?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for anybody that watches this after the fact, it'll probably be fine. Okay, so you had another affiliate, you sold that one, you opened this one.
Yep.
And you said about 3 months.
Yep.
Before we get into this one, why'd you sell the other one? Why'd you sell the first one?
So whenever I had my last one, it was about 30 minutes from where I grew up. I kind of knew that town was hitting a big upswing. And so, it was kind of a comfort thing where I was close to home. I could live with my folks while I got the gym going. I opened it up when I was 21. So it was about a year exactly to the date after I graduated university. And then honestly, the pandemic up here was a little bit harder, especially in Ontario.
So I heard, yeah.
Yeah, we were, I think 13 months we were shut down out of 24. Yeah, it was pretty rough, but every time it came back and the community was fantastic. They really helped us out, and that's the reason why we survived. And then I was looking for a bit of a change. Change of scenery, a couple new challenges in life, and one of my employees was looking to set some roots in the area. And so we kind of just worked something out where, she took over and I got the kind of freedom and the opportunity to go out and try something new.
That's cool. So if you had to take, so you started one, you sold it.
Yep.
Primary lessons learned from owning that first one to the second one. Like there's clearly some things you probably changed from box 1 to box 2.
Yeah, for sure. The number one thing was scheduling. So when I first opened, I was 21. I was a naive kid. And I think we ran about 13 classes a day. So I was up every day at 4:30, and I was back home at 8:30 at night every single day. And I did that for about 3.5 years until we were able to finally get some employees. And then, we did a big expansion. We went from 1,500 square feet to 3,500 square feet at that point too. And then the whole world got rocked. So, that was definitely the biggest one, is to not burn out.
How much of a hit did you guys take, like, from the business during the pandemic?
We were down probably 65% in our revenue.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
So long.
When I ended up selling it, whenever we shut down, we had 135 members. And when I sold it, we had 162 members at that point.
Oh, so you came back and beat pre-COVID numbers then?
Yeah. And the coach that ended up purchasing the business from me, she ran a really successful CrossFit Kids program inside the town. And we had about 75 kids from ages 7 to 14 who would cycle through the gym every 6 weeks. And then we took 2 weeks off and then 6 weeks on. So it came back pretty strong. People were looking for that community and that connection.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's it's funny you said that, because that's typically the rhythm that we suggest for like youth programs, is that kind of like sprint and then take a break and then sprint, rather than run them evergreen. So that's awesome.
Yes.
13 classes a day. How did you come up with that number?
I just loved CrossFit, and I was like, I will do anything I needed to be successful. And it was one of those things where I thought in my mind, if I offered as many classes as possible, I'd keep the options open for people. And it was a grind in the beginning for sure, but then it ended up turning into that we almost needed that many classes.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
And then for how long did you coach all 3 of those? Or for how many years or how many months or years did you coach all of the classes every day?
About 3 years.
That's literally insane.
Yeah. Looking back on it now, yeah.
Dude, how did you survive? I'm trying to switch around my cameras too while we do this.
Yeah. A lot of coffee. A lot of coffee.
I was going to say, dude, that's so much.
And I had I'll be honest, I slept there some nights. I had a couch there that I would take naps in between the day, in between my morning and afternoon classes. And there's definitely times that I slept there overnight, because, you didn't want to make the 40-minute drive in the beginning in the morning. And then, just wake up at 5:30 and do it again.
He's still here. He's just got his camera disconnected here.
No worries.
Yeah, hop back in.
Well, everything disconnected there for a second. I'm trying to play around with my cameras, but it clearly didn't work. Dude, that's crazy. What's the math on that? Like, that might be the highest class count I think I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
We started, first class was 6 a.m. Last class was around 7:30.
Let's just call it 13 times 20. Let's just call it 24.
Yeah, I took Sundays off.
That's 312.
Yeah. Like I said, there wasn't anything I wasn't going to do to make sure that place was successful. It was anything goes.
Bro, you win. I don't know what you win, but you win something. That is egregious. Well, just so that we can quantify that means that within 2 months of operating your affiliate, you would have enough hours to sit for the level 3. Wow. That's so many hours, dude.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That's like coffee, cocaine, energy drinks. That's like literally, that's so many classes, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go. The only reason you're capable of doing that is because you were so young.
Oh, for sure. I'm 28 now, and I couldn't imagine doing that again.
Your internal age is 47 now because of that.
Yeah. I feel it.
Holy shit. That is devastating. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, remind me, Cody, we need to send Devin some swag just for that. Like, you, sir, win the coaching hours. Dude, how many? So that would be 312 times 12. Dude, you would have racked up damn near 4,000 hours a year.
Yeah. I think I've done the math. It's roughly 13 or 14,000 hours of coaching.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
That is so much, dude. Good for you. Well, nobody's going to question your dedication, my friend. So good for you.
I mean, Fernley, how many hours have you coached outside of seminars? Like once you started doing seminars and had the gym up and going, like, kind of back, right?
No, I mean, not until maybe only like a year ago did I stop coaching,
Okay.
like very regularly. But I mean, from probably 2013 through, call it like right up to the, even post pandemic, like, so just call it 13 to 20, 2013 to 2020, I was doing both. So I was working. I was still in the Navy through 2015. So, I mean, there would regularly be times where I would go like 5 or 6 weeks without a day off. So I would work at the box during the week. I would work seminar, and then I'd come back and kick it up on Monday. And I would do that for weeks on weeks on weeks on weeks on weeks. So I wasn't coaching that many a day though. Like 13 a day is fucking nuts. That's a no, bro. Do you even have a chance to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, really quickly. Yeah, it was actually kind of funny because the first place that we were in was in a retail section. So we were in a strip mall, which in my experience, I would suggest nobody to ever do. But we were only there for 2 years in our first location, and they wouldn't do any affiliate outfitting for us, like a facility.
Right.
And so the bathroom didn't even have a ceiling or a light in it.
This is a great question from Corey.
Yeah.
Like,
great question.
it says, how bad, even at 21, did Devin's personal fitness and health tank coaching that many hours? So you don't even have time to train at this point, Devin. What physically and psychologically, what are you like after a 12 months of doing that?
Honestly, I didn't really feel the burnout until around Christmas time. And that was right whenever I took my first 4 days off. And that was because you could feel the anticipation of taking some downtime. And that's when I was like, all right, like I was at that point. But no, I still trained 2 hours a day. And did some competitions with some members and stuff like that. And we did like 5K fun runs, all that kind of stuff. So
So what time of day would you train? So you're training twice a day. What time of day would you train?
So we ran open gym every single day from 10 until noon. So I guess in terms of coaching, those were more like supervising hours where we would come in and like people would throw down with myself. And I would just be there to, answer questions, help people with form and that kind of stuff. But I would train from about 10 to noon every single day, and then take from noon to 12:30 off, coach from 12:30 to 1:30, and then be back on the floor at 3 until about 8:30.
Did you guys have a good attendance at that at that 7:30 to 8:30 slot?
It was a hit or miss, honestly. It was Wednesdays, yeah. Fridays, no. Mondays, yes. It really depended on the day. The town was a big commuting town from Ottawa. It was about 30 minutes from the nation's capital. So it really depended.
So my other question is, what class size? What do these classes look like?
In our first affiliate, in our first location, we were no bigger than 8. Then whenever we expanded, we were 12.
And those were full for all of those classes every day?
Not in the beginning. No, I would stick around 13 hours for about 6 people to come in. And that just organically grew with more and more people. And then after year 2, we had about 106 members.
So you're getting pretty good attendance at that point. You're like, you have people in every class pretty much.
Yep. Yeah. We had, it was, and for myself, it was, I didn't care if there was 8 people or 1 person. I was there for that.
It's interesting. We were having this discussion the other day. Marcus is building some stuff like to help people figure out like what's the minimum number of people you should have in a class to either add one or keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's based on a bunch of different stuff, but it's based on revenue, what it costs to run the business, all that kind of stuff. And back in the day, you're just like, fuck it, we're open, man. Like, we're just going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. And now it looks like I'm frozen, picking my nose. Okay, so let's dive in. So one of the things you put in here. So by the way, if you guys want to be on the affiliate hot seat, just shoot Cody an email, and we'll try to get you guys scheduled in there. Like and subscribe to the show, please, and share this with as many people as you care to. So in the new affiliate, what you said you're looking for is member acquisition. Talk to me about that. What's that look like? So you're at almost 40 members, is that right?
Yeah. So it's been about 2.5 months. And the town that I moved to, so this town, like I've spent, before I opened the affiliate, I think I spent 36 hours total in this town. And then I tried to do it last April, and then nobody was getting back to me in terms of real estate for like landlords and getting commercial leases going. And then after about 10 months of not working, after I sold everything last year, I was like, I gotta gonna try it. And so I signed this lease sight unseen. So I got it a place to live, and then just decided one day to come out here and do it. But yeah, we're both. So it's a brand new actually to the town. It's quite an educational process so far, to say the least, for the community. But I'm pretty happy right now. We're about 38 members in 2.5 months, and then in the past weekend, we've had about 8 people come in and sign up. So we're going to be over 40.
That's great. So this is what is I would describe as zero market research to move into an area.
No, actually, I did some pretty extensive market research. So once I was done with my last affiliate, I kind of told myself I was never going to do one again. But then I went and did some traveling for 8 to 9 months, and I visited a lot of affiliates over that time.
Mhm.
And I just, fell in love with being a member again. And I was like, okay, it's time to jump back into this. So I basically sat down for about a week, and I looked at all the different provinces across Canada, and I just tried to find markets that had anywhere between 7,000 to 20,000 people inside of it, with a pretty good demographic, socioeconomic status. And then it was just kind of finding which one I wanted to go to. And so I narrowed it down to 3 different provinces, and then decided to come out to BC, to Vancouver Island. And I have no regrets. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place, and the people are super friendly and super appreciative to have CrossFit here now.
How did you come up with that 7 to 20 range?
I found that was kind of the sweet spot right now in terms of my numbers. So, I figured, with 20,000 people, right? So Port Alberni has about 22,000 people in the valley. And I figured, with the numbers for my rent and lease and everything to operate the business, if I could grab, 15 people, I could pay for this affiliate to be running right now. So,
So you're profitable right now.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well done, dude.
Yeah. We drew profit first month.
That's great, dude. Well, I mean, it sounds like it's very cost effective there. If you're only needing to bring in 15 people to hit that mark, that's like a very low watermark, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So what you're looking for is more growth. Obviously, what do you anticipate you could reach in your area as far as like member numbers, based on the number of people there and the size of your space?
So yeah, we're about 1,600 square feet, which is about exactly how I started last time. And here inside this space with the current class size, I would say around roughly 75 to 80 people with the amount of classes that we do offer right now. And then honestly, I would be incredibly happy with 100 people, but 60 right now is my yearly end goal. And so to be 60% of the way there already I'm pretty happy with.
Oh, well, if we're betting in Vegas, I'm betting the over on that for sure. If you're at 40 right now, and it's basically April 15th,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. Did you do any sort of kind of initial promotion?
Not promotion, more or less just we did a lot of social media, all the stuff of like, following around the different local businesses. I got a sign up on the building as soon as we signed the lease, so that people would drive by immediately and start to see that CrossFit was coming. But yeah, and promotion wise, no, I didn't offer discounts. I didn't offer, nothing like that. It was just kind of, hey, CrossFit's coming, and still that kind of idea that, if you build it, they will come in a sense. And it's had really good organic growth already. And I feel like right now at that point, 2.5 months, I mean, with the 8 people that are coming in the next week or so, there's the free trial. Yeah. That's one of the new ways we're trying to get some people in. But yeah, it's been
so go there. So stay there with that too, because we can talk about this. So this is always a question people have. So with the week free trial, good job on all these thumbnails, by the way, if we're looking at your social media, because they're all legible from the God, Cody, why am I blanking on that? From the grid
post, man.
Yeah, from the grid post. Sorry. Those look good. The correct there, Vindicate. The fewer people, if you pull that up, Cody, fewer people also means less equipment needed. Start small is smart. And I don't think enough people look at this with regard to the size of the facility, and what it's going to cost. And like you said, you kind of alluded to it earlier, like retail space, although that's kind of changing from my understanding. Is that retail space is probably cheaper than it's ever been. Doesn't mean it's a good deal, but have you ever capped classes, Devin?
Yep. Yeah, I've capped classes. So we just changed our on-ramping program. We had on-ramping that was capped at 6, and right now we have classes capped at 8 for a regular class.
Okay. And then, so I'm looking at that photo that we just saw right there. Could you go more than 8, or why do you like 8?
I like 8 just because of the amount of people that I can keep an eye on. It keeps the quality for sure for people. And from the review that I had from my last affiliate, one of the biggest concerns that people had or kind of worries was that when we did expand, we are going to lose that personal touch. It's basically a spitting image of my last facility when I first opened. So I knew that the small stuff, like the small space, was going to be something that people really appreciated. And, you know, one of the things that people have a misconception of, right, is like CrossFit's dangerous, this and that. So I figured in the beginning, if I can keep it small, I can keep the eyes on people, and people really appreciate that. And still preach and promote the fact that, you know, it's that personal training field, but in a group setting. So.
Right. That's super interesting. Well, so, okay, just for clarification on the, because people like want to argue with me all the time about this, which is dumb, but, and I think it's because they don't understand my stance. My stance isn't capping classes, like in an absolute manner is bad. My stance is capping classes if your business is underwater is bad. And like what you've just stated is like, you can cap classes. Like you're literally profitable at 15. You're 300% of what you needed to be to pay the bills. So now you're paying yourself. And if you want to cap classes in order to do that, well, then you're fine. But my frustration is from people who are not running profitable businesses and are capping classes. And it's a little bit of a double jeopardy, which is like, maybe you'll sacrifice some value, maybe not. That's a coaching question. But there is no question about like whether you need to put more people in the building. You absolutely need to put more people in the building if you're not making any money. And that's what I think people misunderstand about that whole conversation. It's just like, listen, if you're crushing and you want to cap classes, cap away. I don't care. Right. So, okay. So outside of that, what are some of the strategies you're looking at for member acquisition?
So right off the bat, I knew that we could grab at least like 20 people right away, just with the idea that CrossFit is coming to the town. And then right now we've been offering like a community day on Saturday. So I would say that the only day that we do increase the amount of people in our classes is on Saturdays, where for the first 3 months right now, we're keeping it more like basic CrossFit movements, where somebody can come off the street and just do CrossFit in a class, and we can go through some basic cueing and technique points.
Right.
So the classes go up to about 12 on Saturdays, and that's where some people can bring their friends. And we've had a couple members who seem to be recruiting everybody in the town right now, or at least trying to.
It's interesting.
Yeah, to come out on Saturdays. And we just did one, and we had 8 people come in that weren't members or aren't members, and 4 of them are looking to sign up now from just coming and trying it out with their friends.
Cody, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to move to a different browser and see if that helps.
After you do that, I'm actually going to drop out and see if it maybe puts you as host, and then all your stuff can catch up here.
We'll see. Hold on a second.
We're going to try to fix this thing.
We're going to try to fix this stuff.
It was working fine before we hit live.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
After you try a different browser, I'll hop off too. Devin, this is not normally the case. I don't know what's happening.
No worries.
Vindicate. Fern's camera is capped, not profitable. I like it. That's super cool though. It sounds like you've already got like, what we'd call like some ambassadors, right? For your gym. If they're going out recruiting people for you on Saturdays, like that's pretty neat.
Yeah, for sure. The one person, her friend owns a CrossFit gym just up the streets, about an hour away, and she got into it and dove in really, really hard. And I told her, hey, if you bring in a couple people, I'll throw you some apparel your way and stuff like that. So
cool. You said like in the last week you've had 8 people sign up, right?
Yeah. We have so we just just kind of reimagined and reinvented our on-ramp programming, where we used to do 6 classes over 6 weeks that people had the flexibility to come in and out of. But now we're going to switch to more of a personal training style because the biggest review that we've had from the community is that the scheduling is tough.
Right. Like if you had your 6 classes set at this time, it's like, well, I can't make it. So
Yeah,
what do I do now?
Exactly. Some people just aren't 7 p.m.ers.
I've done those late night onboarding sessions for weeks. I used to do one at 6 and 7 p.m. and it would last for like 3 weeks. We do it twice a week, so 6 classes. Almost a month of just staying late. Either kids or job or just like no desire to go to the gym at 7 p.m. Like I get it.
Oh, for sure. I could definitely sympathize with that. After a long day, you go back, you're already cozy at home. It's either you're fighting to put on gym clothes or your pajamas.
What do you think got the 8 people in this past week, right? Like what was different between the weeks prior and then all of a sudden like just bam, 8 showing up this week?
Yeah. So there's been a lot of people in this town that have reached out and like, I want to sign up. But then it was the scheduling aspect of the on-ramping. And so now that we've changed it immediately grabbed 8 new people. And then 4 of them were from our previous community day that we just did.
Cool.
So I think it's just getting more exposure. And it's one of those things where if we can get you in the door, we're pretty confident that we can close on it.
Yeah. What did that community day look like?
For us in terms of like a workout or?
Well, yeah, I mean, all of it. Like, was it just like a whole day worth of classes or just a Saturday or what did that look like?
Yeah. So our Saturday classes, so we typically run an hour class. Our Saturdays are about our 9:30 classes, about an hour 15 to an hour and a half because it's the last class that we run of the day. So I allow that little extra time at the end for people to stick around, stretch, talk, chat, ask questions, that kind of idea. So we brought people in just off the street. We did a fun warm up with like that row golf aspect where, run 100 meters, burpees, all that kind of stuff. And then we just did more of a basic workout where we did some kettlebell swings. We did some wall balls and
some things that are super easy to teach, get people up and moving.
Yeah, exactly. And so they all had a good time. They're sweating. And the goal for myself is if you're leaving here smiling, then that's the number one thing. Yeah.
How did you get the word out for that?
Just talking to my members, social media, and then getting them to bring their friends in. The people who have joined here are very passionate about it already, and they have bought in very, very quickly.
Now, what about that area that you're in? Like, I don't know. Look, call me a dumb American, right? Like, I don't know anything about Canada. So, what does Port Alberni look like?
Yeah, Port Alberni. So it's mainly, or it used to be a resource town where it was a lot of logging and mills. And then at one point in the last 10 years, it's been considered, they call it the worst place to live on the island. Which I don't know why. It's gorgeous. It's affordable. There's a lot of young people that are coming here. So like if you go up to Nanaimo, which is about an hour away, the same house will cost you about 2 to 3 times the amount as if you bought it down here. So there's a lot of people flooding to this area, and they're having a huge revamp of, the mills are shut down. So they're starting to, tear those down and start to build more homes, more commercial stuff. So there's a lot of big plans for this area. And it's kind of like a kept secret, which I'm trying to expose right now.
Right. Yeah. And get the word out. Capture those young people that are moving to the area, get them in there, get them, doing some CrossFit, let them go tell all their friends and like, hey, you need to move to the port. We got
exactly. And it's kind of funny if I was saying this the other day to my partner. She was asking about the members, and I said, about roughly 98% of the people who are our members are not from here. They've all moved here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're not originally like port residents. So we're trying to figure that one out. So I'm in the area. I'm still trying to figure out this town. I've only lived here for 4 months now.
And so you're really just kind of getting your own roots in, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I guess opening a business is one way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, let's just dive into this. Let's go for it.
Yeah, no choice but to get out there and meet people now.
Yeah, exactly. And I like taking risks and trying something new, and it's been paid off so far. So I'm super happy with it.
While we wait on Fern to hop back in, like, more of my area of the expertise as far as like what I do for Best Hour is on the marketing side of things. And so like I was checking out your Instagram, Fern will speak a little bit more to your website. But what does your current social media strategy, look like what do you try to get done? Obviously, like you're a one-man show, and so you're also coaching everything. So it's tough to get, to have a camera in your hand and try to capture all the moments that you want to capture and get it out there. But, what are you doing right now that's putting the word out to the people of, of the port to say, hey, like we're here, this is what we do. You need to come check it out.
Yeah. So far it's been, a lot of it is just educating the town and the people in it of what actually is CrossFit. That's been the biggest one, and what we've been trying to really try to elaborate on through our social media. That's mainly done through our Instagram page, and then through our Facebook we try to put more of the highlights of our community of like what they're doing inside the classes. So really focusing on the branding of it versus the marketing of the gym. So like what I learned in my last affiliate, is I think I heard it on Best Hour was, the Rogue shouldn't be your number one brand that is recognizable. Your gym should be the number one brand that's recognizable inside your business. And so, right away, I, spray painted the boxes. I got a couple t-shirts, like everything. We say AVCF. So I try to put that on everything.
Yeah. Like if you take a look at like Fern's gym, especially, like he's got whatever neon green plastered on everything, right? Like everywhere you look, you can read the word CrossFit Rife for a reason, right? Like I want to read it every time I go to an assault bike or a C2 bike. I want to see it on the rowers. I want it on every wall in the gym, t-shirts all over the place, right? Like it's the goal is to just see CrossFit Rife as the main brand. And it's the same thing. Like when someone walks into your gym, like it's nice having Rogue stuff, but I'm not here at Rogue CrossFit, right? I'm here at your gym, so I want to have my name on everything. And also, like, they become those walking billboards for you too. Exactly. I think Fern does like some type of like welcome box to new members, and I think there's a shirt included with it, but that immediately gets some buy-in from your members too. Like, hey, I'm a part of the family. They're also going to wear it out. That's really what you want to shoot for.
Yeah, exactly. Let's try to infiltrate as much as possible into their lives.
There he is. He's coming back in. We'll see what happens here.
Oh, dude, it was just great.
Yeah. I'm going to drop off and see if it catches up for you.
No, it was like, well, I had to go back and reset all of my Wi-Fi points. I don't know what was up. Like the main one was down, which is probably why it wasn't, but it's still frozen.
No worries. Like I said, I'm gonna let you guys chat. I'll hop off. That way it for sure takes me off as host, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, then, okay.
You'll still be on because you still have host access.
Yeah, but I don't think it's your end. I think it's my end. Anyway, we can still do it. Yeah. Okay, so real quick. So pull up his website real quick, Cody, if you guys didn't already do that.
Bam.
Yeah, click out of that. Yeah, okay. So right out of the gate here, Devin, I click. The first thing is like we need a more prominent call to action on this webpage. So like where a button or something like that like pops out. So like probably put it right between Alberni Valley CrossFit and then where it says effective, fun, and undeniable. I'd probably put like a button right there, like on the edge of that bench right there. But scroll down here for a little bit, Cody. Yeah, because we don't actually get to another call of action until we get pretty far down the page. So go to book now.
It actually opens up a new page, but this is the page that opens up.
Yeah, it goes to a new page, which this is connected to a waiver, is it not, Devin?
Yeah, it's connected to Push Press for us. So it's our profile generator.
Yeah, so I typically recommend like not having people fill out a waiver at this point in their journey. Like it's really out of order, and it's a lot of hurdles for somebody to get over to give you information. Like if you could simplify this to just name, email, phone number, because there's very simple ways to get a waiver filled out prior to them coming to the facility, but not as like. Again, I always like to express people like it's very odd to fill out a waiver to go to a place that you may not go to. or that you
Right.
just want information on. Like I'm filling out a waiver to get information, which is a bit of a leap for some people to make. So if you can simplify that web form, and then you can bake into the cake like confirmation for a free trial class or a free week or a consult or whatever it's going to be, sending them the waiver prior to them showing up, that's a better option, because a lot of people will forego filling this out because they're just like, I don't want to fill out a waiver. I just want to find out more about the gym. And then can you go back, Cody?
So with that page right there, so that for us is a lead generator. So like there's no waiver inside of it. It just gives us our basic information of who they are and then their email, so that we can put them in our lead profiles, so we can continue to contact them. And then at the bottom is like a message they can leave us.
So yes, but even then, if you go back to Cody, it's just it's too much for people to fill out. Like all that information you could get. So if we got one click to get here. Actually, yeah, one click to get here. So I go name, that will auto populate. Birthday will not. So they have to go 1, 2, 3. That's we'll call that 4. Email auto populate. Phone number might auto populate. Call that 5. Then they got to go. Are you? What are your objectives? 6. Preferred communications 7. Comment 8. Click on that 9, and then click submit. We're 10 clicks in before giving you the information, where you could get all that information, because you're going to get their birthday from a waiver if you send them a waiver later on down the road. So again, anytime you're talking about user experience on a website, I want it to be as simple and as minimal as possible, so that I can capture that, and then I can reach out to them and I can get all this information at a later date. Because if they come in for a consult or free, I'm going to ask them what their objectives are. Right. Preferred communication. They're basically giving you their email, phone number, so you could figure out and do that way. Go ahead, Cody.
We've talked about the like having that question box there too, right? At this point, right, if somebody's brand new and they don't know anything about CrossFit at all, they don't even know what questions to ask. Right. So just like, it's kind of an empty box. It's, if you just got the basic contact info, then you have the opportunity to contact the person, have the conversation, and get the questions out of them.
So then the other thing is, go back up to the top, Cody. I want to say it was, go to get started. Yeah, it's get started. Watch this. And then scroll down. Hit learn more. And I believe this goes to, there's a bunch of tabs down here on this next page, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, boom. So right here, so this is also a little bit out. So right, they go to learn more, and it takes them right to a buy a membership page.
Yeah.
Right. So see how that's kind of like, there's a mismatch there. They're like, learn more. And I'm like, all right, well, I've learned that I'm going to have to pay $179 for something that I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be. So just again, so if it's going to be learn more, like I would want to give them some sort of information about like what it would be, right? Like, or it would be like, hey, contact us to learn more, at which point we would follow up. Because the other hurdle that you now have created for yourself from a sales standpoint is now they're out in front here with regard to value proposition. Like they may or may not be like open to this price point. They're definitely going to struggle to be open to it if they have no idea what it is that they're getting. Right. Because I think you had mentioned early in the call that that you're kind of educating people on CrossFit.
Yeah.
Right. In that area. Right. Like there's not a lot of people doing CrossFit in that area. No. So right out of the gate, $170, they're like, for the year? Like, what are you talking about? So again, we always want to be able to lead, or we want to kind of preface anything about price with value. I want to be able to talk value, what it is, what they get, how it works, all of that stuff, before I talk about money. So those would be a couple one-off things just with regard to the website. It's just like a little bit more prominent call to action, and then simplify the call to action. And it shouldn't go to anything like a waiver or purchase a membership or anything like that. I know why people have this here. There are much simpler ways to do that. You can build an automation for these things in a booking sequence that's fairly easy to do. And then the other thing is, people do this all the time too, which is, this might be a personal preference, but I think there's more data to support this. Is like, people want to see people in the gym. So if you have shots of the gym, don't have an empty gym. Right. Because they're like, well, does nobody train there? Is a personal training gym? Like, yeah, like that's a much better picture. I would have more of those. and then have more like, I like to call them, what is it? Seth Godin, Cody's just like people like us do things like this type deal. You want to have photos that when they come to your website, anybody that shows up to your website is like, I could do that.
Yeah.
Right. So like no crazy barbell movements. You know, you could think like sitting on a bike, sitting on a rower, using a dumbbell, using a kettlebell. Like most people are open to those movements. And because it's kind of assumed that CrossFit's going to get a little wacky.
Fair.
You know, so I don't want to intimidate them right out of the gate when they get to this page, or any of these pages for that matter.
Yeah, things like climbing this rope over here on the personal training thing, that's probably going to turn away, half. Right.
Yeah, and just to be candid, like that picture doesn't even match. Right. I mean, like personal training, and I show a rope climb. Like how many people are doing personal rope climbs in personal training sessions? Probably not many.
None so far.
Right, so you would want to have again, thinking about like what might not seem like a big deal to us. Molesting a sandbag, Trish. We'll talk about what you're doing with the sandbags, Trish. I want the pictures to match the words, as silly as that sounds. Personal training, I would likely have to have like a coach and an athlete in that shot for a personal training photo. And again, these are all just kind of like, I don't know if you know what your traffic to your website looks like, but these are all things that are more likely to get conversions out before we even talk about copy or workflow or anything like that. But just like the photos, like this would be a better photo for something like personal training. However, the three of us know what's happening here. If you were not a CrossFitter, this might be confusing. Is that fair? Yeah. Like we all know that there's a wall ball up there somewhere. Right. The layperson is like, why is this person facing the wall with their hands up? Right. Like, and I feel like we forget things like that. It's just like that shot, that photo specifically requires context. And if you don't have context, this is now confusing. Right. So just a couple things there. And then outside of that, you're doing the week. How often are you doing is that just for anybody that comes in, Devin?
The what, sorry?
Because you're doing the free week that's coming up.
Yeah, so we did it for the month of April. So it's coming to a close.
How many leads did you generate off of that?
About 3.
Can you fill me a little bit more on the offer? Is it just like you get a free week if you come in anytime in April?
Yeah, we basically had it through our social media, like through our Instagram and Facebook, where if you reach out, that we would set you up with about 5 classes for a week to come in and just try it. Okay.
And then 3 people came in for that. And then when people come in for that, what does that look and feel like? How does that work?
So honestly, most of our memberships are sold online. I don't really sell many memberships via in person ever. It's like, so out of the 37 people, I've had maybe 1 person that has actually come to the door to sign up for a membership. The rest have all been through the website.
Well, correct, because they can buy it on the website.
Yeah, exactly.
So my question would be like, if you were to change that, would your lead flow potentially increase? So where I'm going with this is like, it's not weird that people are buying online because you have the ability to buy online, right? But so we can't use that and be like, well, look, people are buying online. I'm like, well, it's because they can.
Yeah.
Right. I know I'm not saying it's a terrible idea. Clearly 40 people have purchased online. What I'm saying is we're not entirely sure how many people we've lost or how many inquiries we have, because all of those basically go to kind of like, give me, a ton of information or purchase now. So really what we've done is like, we've narrowed down that in that area, there's 40 people that are like 100% bought into doing that.
Yeah.
What about all the people that are on the fence and just want more information? Those are the ones that we want anyway. All the other ones, they're going to find us and they're going to purchase. Those are layups.
Yeah.
And that's where we want to capture those people. So right now you're not set up to capture those people that are kind of like on the bubble or kind of like just quasi interested.
Yeah, so they will either come in through like the community day that we have, and then when they do, we either have them through the experience of doing a class with like their friends, or we have people where we offer like that no sweat intro as well. So I have a gentleman coming in here in about an hour to come in and just discuss CrossFit and all those objectives, take a look at the facility, that kind of idea.
And then for the community days, do you guys have a referral offer?
Yep. Yeah, we offer.
What's that look like?
So if you're a member and you bring a friend in, and they after their fundamentals and they sign up for minimum 6 months, you both get $50 off your next month.
How many people have taken advantage of
that? One person has brought 3 people, so she's crushing it.
Now, here's my recommendation. You should lower the barrier for the referral.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people make this mistake. So there's a couple that you put on. The big one is that they have to sign up for 6 months. Mm-hmm. We recommend, like, if they sign up for anything, the member gets the referral. It's your job. It's my job as the affiliate owner / coach to get that person to stay. It's not the member's responsibility. The member fulfilled their end of the deal when they brought somebody in. Like that's the extent of our deal. Is like, I just need you to bring me somebody. The rest of that is on me. Mm-hmm. Because I think you'll get more takers if you're just bring them in. It's my responsibility to keep them, not yours. You know, if you like them, and they're like you, they're going to stay anyway. So I don't think it's optimal to have like big hurdles on the referral. And then you refer both. Obviously you give the referral to both people. We typically recommend 40% for stuff like that. So, and here's the deal. You don't have to trust me. Test it out, change it, and then beta test it. Obviously, you know who your big, referrer is. Like you already, and for the record, at most gyms, you have, obviously depending on the size of the gym, 1 to 5 people who will bring you the vast majority of your referrals. Yeah. Right. I think it's like one of those things where I can think of 2 members specifically that have collectively probably brought me 20 clients. Yeah, for sure. And it's just like, reward them. It doesn't matter if people stick around. Like I'm going to give them, I'm going to continue to kind of, incentivize that behavior that I want. Yeah. So make the hurdle low and then give it out liberally. Because if you've designed it right, it's going to work for you every time. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and then you're probably large enough at this point where it's worth like doing something like Bring a Friend Week. Yeah, we have that planned for end of May, I believe. I have that in our schedule. Did you download the mini course, Devin? I have. I downloaded it last week. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I did download it. Cool. Dude, watch that whole thing before you run it. It's got all the information in there that you need to help to have you do that successfully. I just got an email the other week from somebody about that. About like, so we like, I think I have to go back and look at the numbers. I want to say like somewhere north of like 1,000 gyms have like downloaded that course at this point. And I get emails all the time like, yo, this is how it went. They're like, the email was just like, this literally changed our lives because they were able to like get over the hump on some membership numbers. And this is not a client, by the way. This is just somebody who downloaded the course for free. They're not an affiliate they're nobody that we work with. It definitely works. But it's how you do it. It's not just the idea of like running Bring a Friend Week. And many people have tried to copy it, and it's not nearly as fucking effective as the way that we teach it. No, for sure.
I think A3 had what, like almost 80 people show up?
Dude, it was bonkers. Yeah, it was something crazy like that. Like it was something just completely obnoxious. I'm like, God, dude. I'm like, what do you do with all those people?
You convert. That's what you do.
Yeah, you convert. Like even if you were converting like fucking shitty 10%, you're gonna be crushing with those numbers. Yeah. That's eight people. Mm-hmm. So what questions do you have for me, dude?
Yeah, I guess the big thing for myself is like just trying to figure out how to stay grounded in the idea of, I went from a pretty successful gym, the sale of it was super successful. It was large, it was thriving, and just going to like a restart of we're starting from the bottom again and trying to grind it through. So, yeah, I guess just like ways to stay, I guess, level-headed in the idea that, because like I'm in the concept of like everybody should be doing this. Like, why aren't more people trying to do this or like wanting to do it? So yeah, I think that's kind of been like my biggest hurdle, kind of like restarting. So I don't know if there's a question. If there's a question, totally.
I'm going to say it back to you, and it sounds like this is like, hey, I went from a situation where I was thriving to a place where I had to basically bootstrap it. How do I stay motivated?
Yeah, motivated would be a way to describe it, or to not be frustrated to idea that I'm like, oh, why aren't there 90 people in here already? Where, I'm like, oh yeah, like this is how the last one grew as well. Like after 2 or 3 months, I had about 45 people in my last affiliate. So it's just kind of, I guess staying motivated, being okay with the growth where it's at right now, because it did grow pretty organically, and now just trying to figure out, okay, what are the right steps moving forward to bring people in a different manner.
Well, you're in a weird scenario now where you have context now. So I asked this question to an old client of mine. He's not old. He's not a client anymore, but he's a retired Navy SEAL, super successful business guy. Mm-hmm. And I asked him one time about like his career in the SEAL teams. He was super successful, 20 years, retired, enlisted to officer, did all the things. I said, would you do it again? And he's like, well, knowing what I know now, mm-hmm. if you were to go back and be like, yo, this is what it's going to be like, this is all the things you're going to have to go through. He's like, I don't know. Yeah. Right. So some of your reservation is like, how hard it is.
Yeah.
And that, I don't think that should be like, if you were to tell me, if I was to go back right now, mm-hmm. to myself 14 years ago, be like, yo, this is what it's going to look like. Mm-hmm. This is what you're going to have to, this is what 14 years is going to look like. And my first response would be like, 14 years.
Yeah.
What? I'd be lying to you if I told you, I would jump all over that. So so you have context, which is good. However, you have context, which is bad, because it creates reservations. Like, fuck, am I going to have to do 13 classes a day for 3 years again? Because I think I'm good on that one. Yeah, so the question now is, okay, I've done it once. How do I do it again, but significantly faster?
Yeah. I guess that's where I'm at, where it's like, my schedule now is about 6 classes a day, which is I'm super happy with. And now it's like, almost in my head, I'm like, well, am I doing enough? Since I, last time I was like, 13 hours, like that's what's needed, but is 6 hours enough? That kind of idea.
Well, this is where there's the whole, like, greatest lie ever told was just like, hey, hard work will get you what you want. And that's not true. Hard work is cost of entry, but it doesn't mean you're going to get what you want. Yeah. You got to work hard and smart. And this is where smarter comes into play. It's like, mm-hmm. okay, clearly you can work hard. Anybody that would bite off on 13 classes a day for 3 years has checked the hard work box. But now we need to figure out, like, how do I create efficiency in that world? Like, how do I do all of that, but I do it a little bit faster? Mm-hmm. Or maybe not quite as much and get the same outcome. Like, what if you're like, I could do 8 classes a mm-hmm. day for 6 months and probably get damn near the same outcome by stacking on a couple of things on top of that. So mm-hmm. my first question would be, what numbers do you track?
For like inside the gym?
Yep.
Yeah, right now it's attendance. I track my average client value right now. I'm tracking that. And just lead generation, which comes to that website. And mm-hmm. then just how many people come through the door on like our community days with our free offerings. So a couple things. So like you're trying to grow. So sales is the name of the game. So 2 things in the name in the sales game is you got to track everything. And mm-hmm. sales is a momentum game. Mm-hmm. So good sales teams like drive hard for momentum. Like, so if you're ever in charge of a sales team, you incentivize the shit out of them and they'll sell anything. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then they get that momentum and they keep going. So you have to figure out how to incentivize yourself. Mm-hmm. And you also have to track the numbers, right? So tracking the leads. How many are you converting? How many are you not converting? Where's the fall off in there, right? So mm-hmm. if you're looking at your numbers, and we just go with some basics here, I've got lead shows up for a consult, or in your instances, like lead to potentially just purchase. Is there a disconnect there? Like, how many leads versus how many purchases do I have? Mm-hmm. And then am I following up with anybody that was a lead that didn't purchase? Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So if you have that list of people, that would be the first group that I would go to, and you can come up with all sorts of incentives, right? If you just want to get people in the door, be like, hey, if you sign up this month, I'll give you 1 month for free. You just strategically place where that month lives.
Yeah.
And I would argue that month should live at the back end of their commitment, which is mean like, hey, you're going to sign up right now. Your 12th month will be free. It's on me.
Yeah.
Now you need to track that, because if you sign up a bunch of people in that scenario, you need to remember that like you might have a good chunk of people that will not be paying a membership, and you don't want to blow up your budget if you've got a budget. So that's where I would start, right? But you got to track the numbers. You got to know where everything is. And the longer I do this, the more and more answers I find in the data. Which I used to hate that shit. Just like, don't worry about it. None of it's important. I'm like, no, it's all important. The issue is you just have to figure out how to aggregate it and make it something that is palatable to you as a gym owner.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you're like me, you didn't join a gym to fucking look at spreadsheets all day.
No.
However, there's a lot of answers in those spreadsheets if you can take the time to put it together and then learn to decipher it. Because then all it is just, oh, I get to decipher it faster. So I don't spend all day in spreadsheets. I spend 10 minutes in spreadsheets because I've been tracking it long enough to know what the information is telling me. So things like, how many referrals am I getting? How many holds and cancellations am I getting? What's my churn rate? Because all of these numbers start to add up. And so, for instance, let's say you're getting 5 leads every 2 weeks, and then you're getting 1 hold and 2 holds and 1 cancellation every 2 weeks, right? So a total of 2 cancellations a month. That wouldn't be wild, but that's 4 holds every month, right? So a total of 6 memberships of lost revenue every like on a rolling 4-week basis. Well, if I'm looking at my leads, I need to outpace both of those, right? Not just the cancellations, because if I have 2 holds every 2 weeks, that means I'm losing that revenue until they come back in. And yes, they're coming back. However, I'm not collecting that revenue right now. So I need to outpace both of those together. But most people just track just the cancellations instead of cancellations and holds.
Yeah.
And I would argue you should be trying to outpace both of those numbers. And then that would lead me into like, am I getting enough leads? Why am I not getting enough leads? Maybe I should look at my website. Can I see how many unique hits I'm getting on my website? Am I making it easy for people to give me their information? Yes or no? I don't know. And then I start to play around with all that stuff, because you have the ability as a independent CrossFit affiliate to run as many experiments as you want.
Yeah.
Which means if you take all that pricing stuff down off your website, you don't have to take it down forever. You would just take it down for a couple of weeks to see if there was an uptick in leads for people who just wanted to check you out.
Yeah.
And then if the answer is yes, because I was tracking it every month and it went from 5 leads every 2 weeks to 9 leads every 2 weeks. Well, I've just figured out that, this format on the website is better. And then I'll automatically be able to figure out, just projecting forward, I know what my conversion was at 5 leads every 2 weeks, which means I can move that forward to be like, well, it's reasonable to assume that I get the same conversion percentage off of 9, which is obviously higher. Right? You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, for sure.
And all of that can be because now I have like really close targets as an affiliate owner, meaning that's how I keep myself motivated. I stay dialed into the numbers because all of those matter now. Every person that comes in matters. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Cody, put it back. Philip wants to see your forehead. So that's where I'd urge you to go, man. Like really dive into the numbers and figure out which numbers like get your juices flowing, man. Like some people like to look at revenue. Some people like to look at the member numbers. Some people like to look at both. Some people, like to look at their, incentivized or motivated by the negative numbers. Be like I'm going to try to save these cancellations, like whatever that's going to be, and do that. But that's one way to do that. And that way you have, intentional objectives every single day, which is like, I'm going to go grow the business. And it starts to drive everything you do. Well, you should ask for referrals if you want to grow the business. When that lead comes in, tell them that you have a referral. Tell them that if they bring in somebody with them within the first month, that you'll give them 50% off their following month's membership. Right. But everything is based on like, I'm trying to get to these numbers. Right. So like, let me ask you this. You said you want to get to 60?
Yep.
Okay. So let's brainstorm here. That's 20 people because you said you'd be at 40 by the end of this month.
Yep.
3 primary and 60 by what time? Give me a time frame.
It was end of the first year of operation, so by next February.
All right, let's be winners here and let's not wait another 9 months to do
No,
that. How
yeah.
well, like give me when do you want to do this? When do you want 20 more people?
Yeah, if I could have that by the end of the summer, that would be great. Like August, end August.
August. Okay. So it is currently April 15th. So we'll go May, June, July. We'll just call it 90 days. 20 people in 90 days. That breaks out to, call it 7 people every month. So what's the 3 ways that you could drive traffic to your gym to close 7 people every 30 days?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess right now it seems to be like the things that we're doing seem to be working, I think, but it's almost like the speed of it. So for myself, I think it's like maybe giving more offerings. I think definitely lowering that barrier of the referral is a big one for people, because we are the most expensive fitness facility in the town right now. So that definitely, I believe, is a barrier for some people. Yeah, I think also for myself, getting out into this town a little bit more and talking about CrossFit and seeing it a little bit more, because I'm brand new to the area as well. Like I've only lived here for 4 months and owned a business here for 3. So getting involved in some of the more community events that are happening, because it does have that small town feel of, the junior A hockey is really big in this town. Some of the trail running that goes on as well.
So right there, I would like think about that. Are you a hockey guy? Do you know anything about? I feel like everybody in Canada plays hockey, but that might be making assumptions.
Yeah, I was a goalie growing up.
There's there's some hilarious, like, I don't know if they're memes, they're more like joking videos. The referee Shorzy. Hey Shorzy, dude, they're so funny. So with that, I'm like, do you have an opportunity there to train youth hockey players?
Yeah, so the junior A team in this town, I know like they're in the middle of the playoffs, and I know that the president right now is looking for a new place or for a new training facility or a new coach for them. So I just found that out about 3 days ago, and I have an email ready to go and hopefully meet him in person.
So I would set that up and I would offer them like a free training session. Right? Like I would go to them with an offer, and then because like if you're looking for 20 in the next 90 days, you could cover some of that with this hockey team, if not half of it with this hockey team. And now I can roll that 60 for a little bit further forward, because it gives me a little bit more buffer time with regard to like how I'm going to hit these numbers, and it gives you more exposure. Yeah. Right. Because now I have access to all of these kids' parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's
I would also, yeah.
I was just gonna say, here what you asked for 3, and Brandon threw up 3. What do you think about these?
Yeah, incentivize members to post or check in every time they're there. For sure, you could do that. Now, incentivize them with what, Brandon? I love it, but what I would do is I would incentivize them with some sort of raffle or something like that, right? Be like, hey, if you guys post or check in or give me a Google review, so that you can then go use that on your social media handles. Yeah. I would do something like that. Post success stories or member spotlights. For sure, you should be highlighting people. Show up in swag literally everywhere. Yeah. So if you've got like your affiliate t-shirts and stuff like that, dude, everywhere, put them on everybody.
Yeah, for sure. We did that in the beginning when we opened to get Google reviews. I basically put it in, like, if whoever gave us a Google review would go in for the ability to win a no bull shirt kind of idea, because we don't have apparel just yet. We're just working with a town or a company in town. So that was really good. And now I have 9 different social media posts that I can do that are genuine reviews that I can put up every single time. So
yeah, I mean that, and then Bring a Friend Week. I mean, I'd be willing to bet that with Bring a Friend Week, you could get 5 to 6 people off of there. At which point now the number is not 20 anymore. The number is like 15.
Yeah.
Right. So we could, so like 5 from Bring a Friend Week, follow up with every lead that didn't actually purchase, try to get at least 2 or 3 of those. And we're literally almost 50% of the way there.
Yeah.
At which point you're like, all right, do you think you can get 12 people in the next 90 days? Like, how do I take what I already have and convert that? Because you've been open for 3 or 4 months. You've got a decent chunk of data to tell you roughly how many leads you're going to get every single month. So if you just like move that forward and then actively engage with the other things that you have at your disposal, run a referral program, bring a friend week, reach out to all the old leads, reach out to this minor league hockey team. Boom, you're there, dude. I would argue you're past 60. You're probably at like 70 at that point.
Yeah. For sure.
So, I mean, those are just some low-hanging fruit ideas, man, but those are all really high converting ideas is what they are. That's the most important piece. Like you're not going to have to reinvent the wheel on all of those. Like we've tested those. Those are tried and true opportunities to do some sales. What else?
Yeah. I'm trying to think like for, yeah, I guess it's just staying the course right now of the growth of it. Cause I'm trying to remember and refresh myself about how it was, I opened up in 2017, my first one, and just trying to rationalize to myself how the growth actually worked, and not being panicked by having, 40 members in 3 months, even though, it is profitable. We are making money. I'm able to pay myself already from the gym, which is fantastic. And so now for myself too, is like, continuing that course, because I also do this to try to, offer opportunities for people with, employment and stuff like that. So I guess that's a little bit of pressure on myself that I put on to try to grow to that point to say, hey, like we can offer employment for people in this town. I know we also are working with CrossFit Indigenous. So the CEO in the town here, or CEO of CrossFit Indigenous, Roger Boyer, he's in this town here as well. And so him and I are working on some things to start initiating some of those programs as well. But yeah, I guess it's just staying the course right now and putting in some of these changes for sure, that lower barrier, non-ramping, and bring a friend week. We definitely have that in our arsenal for May that we're going to go for. I definitely have to watch that course. That's for sure. But yeah, I guess it's for this is just, knowing where I was and not being panicked to get there too fast while not having a good service for the members, because that's my main goal. I always say to people is, as long as you're leaving here with a smile, then our job is done really well.
Well, let me ask you this. Where do you want to be there? Like, hey, this is, I'm not panicking right now. Like this spot would make me feel good.
In terms of membership wise,
think about the business. So don't think of it just in membership. I want you to think of it at like a little bit more full spectrum. Like, yes, I need revenue and I want members, but then like how much would you be doing versus not doing inside of the affiliate too? Like think revenue, class load, all that.
Yeah, for sure. I guess it would be to the point of, having some evenings off or afternoons off, being able to have those opportunities to give coaches, the ability to be in here and to learn and to grow their skill set.
How many afternoons off?
Right now, I'd be happy with 2. I'd be happy.
So how many classes is that for those afternoons?
That could be 4 classes.
Total,
yeah.
So you're looking at 16 classes a month. Is that right?
Yeah.
What would you pay somebody to get those off?
Right now, about $30 a class, $30 an hour per class.
So we'd be looking at 30 times 16. So less than $500. Okay. So that also now becomes part of your target, right? So like now when I'm growing the gym, I'm factoring that in. I'm like, I'm going to hit these targets so I can get afternoons off.
Yeah,
right? Because if I get some of these, I'm getting the afternoon off, which point I can do more sales if that's what you want to do, or you can take a nap or whatever. But the point is like now there's growth with intention, which is like, I need, based at your memberships, I need 3 more memberships right now to get 2 afternoons off a week is the way I would look at that. Me as a gym owner, I'm like, if I sell 3 memberships, I'm getting 2 afternoons off, obviously barring not getting a coach. Right. But I could do it at that point.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the one barrier right now, which would be the first thing that I would do is offer to, either subsidize or pay for a level 1 training cert, because this is CrossFit is brand new to this town. Like there's nobody here who has it, except for myself. So that's another one that I'm trying to work out as well.
And there's a lot of ways to do that, right? Like you can have somebody on the floor, who is working on their level 1. I've done that in the past. right? You can, if you work with them long enough, they could be a pretty damn good coach before ever showing up to their level 1.
Yeah.
And then they just get to level 1 and they're like, oh, all right, sweet, this is dope.
Yeah, for sure. We already have, which is really cool. We already have 2 members who are already looking at doing their level 1, which they've been members for 2.5 weeks. That's it.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you split the difference on those, they each get 8 each a month.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, you want to help them get up to speed from a coaching standpoint, but the point remains is that like I now have a reason to go get 3 more people, which is like I get 2 afternoons off now. Right. So that way I can breathe a little bit and feel like I have a little bit more control of my time. Because right now you don't, but that's and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the season of business that you're in right now because you decided to open another one. It's just like, okay, no harm, no foul, but like, let's get out of this sooner rather than later. So thinking about it and saying, yeah, it took me 3 years to get out of this last time. This time it's going to take me 6 months.
Yeah. That's the goal. And I already feel better only doing, 6 hours a day versus 13 hours a day has been quite a change. So it's been nice.
Right. And then, so now you're thinking about this and you're mapping it out because you're a little bit smarter and you're like, oh, okay, cool. I could split this up with regard to my coaching hours and bring a little bit more heat to the classes because I'm not worn out. And, and start building in a team, even if they are part-time.
Yeah, for sure.
Brandon's coming with all those suggestions here today.
Man, he's got some really good ones too. Like, I mean, it's just explore all your options, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's literally what we've been doing. And like I mentioned, like I'm brand new to this town. So I'm trying to learn from the members right now of like what events are there, what kind of sports teams are there that would be willing to kind of come in or try it out. So as much as I'm bringing CrossFit to this town and teaching them CrossFit, the community is teaching me about this actual community, which has been a big learning curve because, like I said, I only spent 36 hours here before I decided to move my whole life across the country and try it again.
I was checking out some of your social media earlier. You said that you're bringing CrossFit to the area. One thing that I would recommend is doing more video stuff, especially reels, both on Instagram and Facebook. And the reason why is because your videos will naturally get pushed to the audience that's in your locale, but your post won't. So you do a lot of posting with a lot of information that's on it, but unless someone's following you or they just happen to stumble across it in the search feed, they're not going to see that. Versus a reel, especially Facebook reels are really being pushed right now. That will actually get into someone's random feed just because of your locale. So if somebody doesn't know anything about CrossFit and you've done a video on it, it may pop up just because they were interested in something fitness related.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely have noticed that too. We put, I think, only 3 reels out, and that's all my partner. She's fantastic at Instagram, and I'm learning from her right now about it all. So, the ones that we have put up have been our biggest hits for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like super polished at all. If you have the ability to like set up a second phone or a camera to film a class, you can chop that class up into 15 different 30-second segments that you can have different caption or post or information that you're trying to get out, but it actually shows what's happening inside of a CrossFit class, right? Which is, if you're trying to bring that to the area and they want to see it, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. I agree.
Dude, is there anything else we can help you with? Any other questions you got?
No, I think that's everything right now. Definitely just a few things of trying to stay, on the course and figuring out a couple ways to bring people in. And I like the idea of obviously that lower barrier for people to come in. I just wanted to come on and have an experience because I've been listening to the show for about 3 years now, and I've turned a lot of people to the show too to check it out. So,
well, I'm sorry that you've been listening to the show for 3 years and then you come on to this fucking freeze frame of me. This has literally never happened before. So, I blame it on Canada.
That's I'm on an island right now. We're isolated. So.
Yeah.
Well, the face that you see right there that's frozen in fern is what you would have gotten 90% of the show anyway.
Right. But yes, I blame Justin Trudeau. But yeah, also call Brandon Waddle at any point, and he'll give you all tons of ideas. He has a lot of ideas, and it's great. Brandon, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
it's great.
Awesome, Brandon.
Well, listen, dude. If I think you have probably no less than half a dozen action items here that I think will go a long way. And the reality is like, you don't have to go far to get to your goal. I think you just drive headlong at that thing with reckless abandon. And I think you'll be there in short order and be able to solve some of your own problems and get some of your time back and enjoy it a little bit more. Because again, at the end of the day, if it's not fun, why the fuck are we doing this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with the restructuring from the last one, this one has definitely been a lot more fun, and it's only 3 months in.
Let's see what's Brandon got to say. Let's see. Pull that up, Cody. Brandon, let's say I opened my gym in 2014, went from 6 day one to 163 in 8 months. You have to make yourself uncomfortable with getting out and being willing to be told no about joining. Brandon, where is your box? Well, let's give you a shout out, dude. And is it I'm assuming it's a CrossFit gym. It's Waddell. Sorry. My bad, bro.
Waddle. You can't say Waddle. Come on, man.
Waddell. I don't know. You never know, dude. Waddell. My bad. Listen, I started the show by saying I was gonna mess up names all the time. Well, anyway, Brandon, we appreciate your input, dude, and thanks for coming to the show. Don't own a box. It's a garage gym. It's a big ass garage gym with 163 people in it, bro. Trish, nobody's buying that. Your nephew, get out of here. Cool. Well, Devin, if you need anything, you reach out. You let us know any way that we can support. But for anybody that's up in the Canada area and you guys want to go check out the box in Alberni Valley, go check them out. Are you going to be going to the games at all, dude? By chance?
Trying. We were trying to get we have a couple people who are buying in right now, and now we're starting to talk about it. So
there you go.
Yeah, I have never been in the 12 years I've been doing CrossFit, so it's definitely on my list.
You should go. It'll be fun. We'll see you there. Yeah. But outside of that, dude, if you need anything, please let us know. And then if you guys, again, please subscribe, share, Affiliate Hot Seat. If you guys want to come on the show, hit up Cody. He'll make sure that we get you booked on there. And outside of that, I'll make sure that whatever the fuck is going on with this internet is sorted out next time we do the show, because this is annoying me. But outside of that, Devin, I wish you the best, bro. If there's absolutely anything we can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to support you in any way we can.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.